Oh no, now can you hear me? We are here. The next thing I need to figure out how to do, and I'm not even gonna lie, this is the first time we're using this platform on this first Mastery Monday. We are gonna figure out how to add our special guest to this screen because right now you are only seeing me, and tonight on Mastery Monday, our very first Mastery Monday. I'm going to keep saying that because Jay Chase is here with us. So bring to the stage. Hello, Jay Chase.
What is
How are
up?
you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm excited. I'm excited to be here. Mastery Monday, ready to lay down some tools, tips, tricks to help you get your way to self-mastery, self-management. I'm excited to do this with you. Let's rock it out. Let's rock it out.
Thank you
Yeah.
for being here. I
Yes.
appreciate it. I
Absolutely.
figure, tonight's going to be kind of a lighter conversation. What
Yeah.
does mastery of ourselves mean? How can we elevate 2024? It's around the corner. And this time of year, I think, can bring so much anxiety, so much excitement, so much anticipation. And we tend to gear up with a lot of expectations. And so, coming into elevating 2024, Jay, that is kind of my first question for you is being an expert in leadership, being a person of development, which, by the way, since this is a live, maybe we should introduce ourselves. I don't even really know if that's something we need to do, but we might as well get it covered. So let's start with that. You have a little bit of an idea of what we're talking about, why we're here. Jay, how did you come to be here on tonight's Mastery Monday?
I couldn't tell you. All the stars align. God is good. Praise God. I'm happy to be here. No, truthfully, my name is Jay Chase. I do leadership, development, and personal and professional growth. Right alongside you, Miss Alexus. We work closely together. We're co-creating the Amplify workshop that's going to be happening January 26th in your hometown or close to your hometown, right?
Yep.
Scottsdale, Arizona, and I had to accept the invite when you told me that you wanted to start this series and just dropping knowledge and wisdom to those who follow you and subscribe to your channel on just what it takes to, actually grow into the person that somebody wants to follow. Right. So I think that's how I got here. But but what about you? What made you want to do this series? What made you want to do something like this?
Oh, I love that question. Let me be totally honest because I'm a person who believes in transparency and vulnerability.
Yeah.
I have started this series because people have told me that I need to go live. And I'm
Yeah.
like, what in the world could I possibly have to share with the world on a reoccurring basis? And after working with you on Amplify and after over the last few weeks really diving deep into anticipating 2024, I realized that Mastery Monday was what it was going to be. And the idea that mastery evolves, the idea that everything we do comes from a set of principles that we either take in or adjust or adapt, and being able to share all of those things on a platform like this going forward, I think is going to be really exciting. Now, truthfully, this is going to be something that grows. This is going to be something that we continue to share. So tonight might look a little different. December is going to be some testing.
Yeah.
And beyond that, we're just going to continue to let this turn into whatever it turns into in
Yeah.
2024, which is
Yeah.
exciting. That being said, Jay and I are both, would you say, personal development speakers? Like, that's our passion, right?
We do what we do. I'm very very passionate about growth, development. I'm not big on titles because my first title was not one I was fond of. With the decisions that I made early in my 20s, landed me in jail and prison for a time, and then I had to get over the titles that came with that, right? Convict, felon, things like that, and so I like to tell myself that I'm somebody who helps other people manage emotions and habits so they can live a full and effective life, whether that's through speaking, coaching, training, or podcasting. Whichever way it is, I'm using my gift in order to give back to the world. But yeah, if you want to call me a personal development speaker, go ahead. A personal development trainer, go ahead. A coach, whatever that may be, you can call me whatever you want to call me. But I honestly think I just want to help people. So I'm a servant. I'm a servant leader. I'm a servant leader. What do you call yourself?
Truthfully, I keep saying truthfully, but that's okay. We're going to work that out too. Uh, I mean, people have been asking me, what do you do? Who are you? My whole life, right? Like, we've been familiar with those questions since we were
Yeah,
kids. What do you want to be when you grow up? And I've never had an answer. And I feel like even to this day,
yeah,
I'm out there networking, I'm meeting amazing people, connecting with others. They're like, what do you do? I'm like, oh, that's a great question. I do so many things, but
yeah,
along the same lines, Jay, it's the thought of, or it's the passion of impacting other people in a positive way.
yeah,
And whether that comes about in a one-on-one conversation, whether that comes about in a networking group, whether in previous arenas of my life, that's been by positively impacting their roofing business, it's been
yeah,
positively impacting their health, right? It's leaving an imprint,
yeah,
truthfully. I think what drives this ultimate desire for growth. And I
yeah,
appreciate you sharing that, like, you didn't love the first title you
yeah,
feel like you got in life.
yeah,
And this is going to take me, Jay, you're about to come into, welcome to my world, okay? We are about to go down
yeah.
the Jay Chase interview here, because
Okay.
without loving that title,
Yeah,
you had to come to the point of recognizing that where you were at in your life came about from a series of choices. Would
yeah.
you agree with that?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So then when you say, okay, I don't love the title of felon, I don't love the title of convict, I don't love the title of what and where these choices have gotten me in life, what was the turning point for you? And this is
Yeah,
going to be getting us to our point. What was the turning point for you when you were like, I'm ready to be something different?
yeah, absolutely. Well, and I love this question because I believe we have many of those turning points. It's just like, which one do we pay attention to, right? We have many of those pivotal moments, but which one do we actually pivot on? And for me, it happened when I got out of prison, right? I've been away from my phone for 6 months. I was in prison for 6 months. I didn't reach out to anybody. They did like a shock, right? They're like, all right, you're going to spend 6 months in prison. If you continue making choices like this, you're going to end up in prison. I was like, all right, cool. I'll go do 6 months. That's great. Whatever. In my head, I was like, yo, I'm gonna go do this, slap on the wrist. I go get back to doing what I was doing, right? And praise God, it didn't go like that. But what happened was I got out of prison. I get my cellular device back. I get my phone back, right? And I log into all the social medias, right? Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at the time. I don't even know if TikTok was around. This is 2017, and I didn't have a single message from anybody asking me where I was for the past 6 months. I didn't have anybody check in on me. And I was like, wow, okay. So it was very clear and evident that nobody missed that version of me. Like the decisions I was making, the person I was when I got myself into that predicament, nobody missed that version of me. And so my desire for growth and development grew from being isolated, alone, and realizing that nobody missed me at the point that I was at. So I said, okay, I want to develop into somebody that somebody would miss. And now, if you Google me, I might be somebody that somebody will miss if I'm gone for 6 months. Right?
Oh, you have definitely done the work to turn that around, Jay. I mean, you have one of the top 2% or podcasts in the world for mindset, like what you have built and developed since that journey. Also, there's a fly over here. If it lands on my forehead, or if you just see me over here doing karate, that might happen. Um, but okay, so thank you for sharing that, right? Like, you realized that that was not the version for you. So
Yeah.
now gearing towards 2024, elevating this next level, if you fast forward towards what you've done to become a person that is missed. Now, obviously, we can't jam pack the last 6 years into our 20 minutes left on this live, but what came about for you as the first starting pieces on your journey to becoming a man that was missed or could be missed?
Man, I had to let go of the man that I was. Complete and utter death to that version that I was. And I had to realize and sever that cord that nobody, like Jay, nobody missed that version of you. You didn't bring no good to you. The decisions you were making, the way that you were trying to do things landed you in prison. And so, we'll get caught up in like, oh, I miss how this used to be. Or, I want to go out and get drunk with my old friends. Or I want to go to my old environments, do the old things that I want to do. And I had to literally silence those thoughts and keep pushing forward and cut that version of me off and saying that there's no turning back. And then I had to forgive myself for that person. I had to forgive myself for the person that I was, for the person that I became. And that started with one, forgiving myself, forgiving my mother, forgiving my father, forgiving my 4 sisters, for everything. Like starting with a clean slate and then looking like, okay, now it's time for reinvention. And when that reinvention comes, I had to understand myself. There he is. I had to. I had to.
I wasn't joking.
I'm telling you, I saw him. He made a cameo. He made a
Right
cameo.
here.
I love it. But I had to reinvent myself. And I really had to take ownership of where I had been, but most importantly, where I wanted to go. And it started with undoing and unlearning a bunch of behaviors to start that process of becoming that person that I wanted to be. I think that answered your question. I think so. I think so.
Oh, yeah, Jay, you nailed it. You nailed it, because all of this is leading towards something. And I appreciate you letting me peel back the layers
Come
of
on.
Jay Chase. I don't know that you always, put this out there in this context. I mean, I know you've shared your story, I know you've shared your transition, but being able to say, like, man, a new year is around the corner. 2024 is less than 20 days away, 30 days. I mean, I don't even know. I don't keep track of that kind of stuff, but it's here. And
24
so
days. 24 days.
what do you want to carry with you into the new year? What do you want to bring with you to the new year? And what do you want to leave in 2023? I think is one of the first questions that we can ask ourselves. And Jay, if you want, and I want to do this little exercise together, just for anyone that's watching, and be able to say, this is how we navigate this conversation. This is how we walk through this personal reflection so that we can gear ourselves up for what's next.
Yeah, absolutely. One, what first one was, what do I want to run towards in 2024? Like, one, I want to develop my craft in speaking, coaching, training, leading, right? I want to speak in 10 different states, right? I want to impact 20,000 people, whether that's coaching, speaking, training, however that may look, whether that's on the app. But that's what I'm running towards, right? And I always think that we need something to run towards. So having that forward facing vision. But then I love what you said. What do you want to leave behind in 2023? Bad habits, bad emotions, like bad friends, bad environments, things that hold us down. I like to think of a hot air balloon. When a hot air balloon gets ready to take off, right? You pump it and fill it up full of hot air. You fill it all the way up, and then it gets to this point where you don't need to put any more hot air in it. You actually need to cut the rope that's holding it down to the ground so it can take off. And then you can navigate it with the hot air and let it do what it's supposed to do, but it's not supposed to sit on the ground, right? It's a hot air balloon. So it made me think of, what do you need to cut off in 2023 in order to rise to the person that you want to be in 2024?
Oof. Jay, that is so good. Okay, so for those of you just joining us, this is Jay Chase. My name is Alexus Ray. If you are here on this live, we're 15 minutes in. Thank you for being here. Also, send this live to like 3 other people in your phone contact right now, because we are about to get into the nitty gritty of this knowledge. Jay, okay, you are killing it with this analogy. And I just want to say, your hot air balloon makes me think of another speaker. I saw another, like, I can't even tell you the woman's name, but her story of her snake, her pet snake. Have you heard this one? Okay. She had a pet snake, which personally in my life, I don't think that that would
Oh,
be my choice of
I
animal.
wouldn't know.
Okay, but she had it.
Okay.
And it was like 4 or 5 years old. It was beautiful. It was cute. She took it to the vet, and the vet thought the snake was like two. She's like, oh, no, no, no. This is my queen. This thing has been around. They couldn't figure out why it was so small, right? The snake ate, the snake shed its skin. It did what it was supposed to do every single year. What the vet ended up sharing is that the snake will only grow as large as its habitat.
Mm, mm-hmm,
And so asking ourselves, what cage are you in right now?
mm-hmm,
What string is attaching to your hot air balloon, as Jay you just shared, that is not allowing you to go where you are meant to go? And I would like to counter saying that any of those things, Jay, are bad, right?
yeah. Mm-hmm,
Maybe we don't have to align like, hey, these things are good for me or these things are
right.
bad for me,
Right.
but they could just be not helping me go where I want to go.
Right. No, absolutely. And like and the thing is the hot air balloon has to come down and land and then you tie it right back up and stationary. It's like what's holding you back? What is grounding you? What is keeping you? It could be finances, it could be your career, it can be a relationship, it can be your own mindset, it can be your health lifestyle, like how your choices that you're making on a day-to-day basis. Like it's one thing that you and it's not even something like don't even get too deep with it, like because it's something that's right in front of you. Where do you need the most improvement? That's where you start hacking at. That's the string you start cutting because like a hot air balloon is meant to rise and then come down. The only thing that keeps it floating is you pumping the hot air into it. And I'm not using hot air as a bad analogy because the hot air is what you need in order to rise it, right? So whatever fuel that you need to fuel yourself to get to where you need to go, you got to let go of the rope. You got to let go of the ground for at least a little bit. I've been telling people, a lot of people are scared of growth because of security and certainty and, things of foretelling the future. I was like, yo, if you want security, go to prison. They'll give you gates, they'll give you guards, they'll give you 3 meals. Like, go to prison if you want security. But if you want to live the life that you want to live and you want to be exactly what you're supposed to be, you're going to have to take a risk. That's going to have to take a risk.
Whew. I mean, yeah, wow. I mean, that makes it so easy, right? My counter to that is always like, I want my health to be better. Okay, well, I would just like to have health, right? And
Yeah.
that's coming from someone that struggles with an ongoing chronic condition where I'm living 24 hours at a time type thing. But
Yeah.
bringing it back down, okay, so because like you and I, right, we can go on this forever. But
Yeah.
someone who's not used to examining these types of conversations or evaluating what isn't serving them. Jay, what would you say to someone that just came to you and was like, I wouldn't even know where to start?
Mm. I do. I call it the 7 equities. It's the 7 equities, 7 areas of your life, right? And we're gonna rate them. We're gonna rate them 1 through 5. Don't even make it deep. Like 1 through 5, it ain't gotta be deep. But we're gonna look at your mind, like your mindset. We're gonna look at your body, your health overall. However, like the healthy lifestyle that you want to live. Like how's your health, right? We're gonna look at your spirit. How's my spiritual development, right? How's my spiritual development? We're gonna look at your intimate relationships, your networking relationships. So that means your colleagues, your workforce, things like that. Then we're going to look at finances and business and see exactly where you are and where you want to be. Out of those 7 areas, if you can't find one place to improve or grow in, then obviously we're not looking hard enough or we're lying to ourselves because there's always improvement to be done. But I always start with the will of life. Take the 7 key areas and rate them. Like for me, like I always rate 1 through 5. I don't make it too deep. 5 being the best, one being the worst, and like my mindset always at a 5. My body, like the health part, bro. I'm like I'm the only person in the world who probably don't like working out, but I know I have to do it in order to be healthy, in order to run around with my son when he's 10 in 10 years, like so I know I got to start working on my body now. So I'm good with that being at like a 3. If I get it to like a 4, I'm great. But I'm not. That's not something. But I know I'm like, okay, I could go to the gym every single day. That's a place for improvement, right? And just go down there and rate the 7 equities of your life. Like if you don't know where to start, look at your life. Look at it. Take an honest look at it. I hope that's concise. I hope
Oh,
that's
yeah.
concise.
You're nailing it. This is great. Man, Mastery Monday. I think that this is going to be like, all right, we're feeling the momentum here. We're flowing. And I love that you call them the seven equities. In our accountability group that I run on a weekly basis, we talk a lot about those equities as well. I feel like we narrow them down to 5 as opposed to there being 7. But I love how you broke the intimate relationships out from the networking relationships. I think that's really good. So, really the takeaway, right? Where do you start? How you're trying to elevate your 2024, you know you want to do something a little bit different, or you just want to enhance on the experience that you had in life in 2023. So, step number 1 is to look at the buckets of your life, whether it be the 7 equities, whether it be the 5 buckets. Look at it, be honest with yourself. This is working, what's not working, what don't you like, what do you like, and then we address from there. Is that what you would say?
Yeah, and most importantly, where do you want them to be? Because I always think we need something that we're running towards. Because a lot of people fall into they think growth is repairing, and growth is not repairing. Growth is not fixing. Growth and development actually means building on top of without damaging the pre-existing resources. So where are we building to versus trying to repair? So if you look at your 7 equities and be like, yo, my relationships right now, and I'm like, okay, why is that? Because I'm with somebody I don't want to be with. That's not growth. That you need to repair that, right? When you're talking about, oh, me and my partner aren't communicating too well, and I love them and I want to work through it, that's growth. So you got to know if, all right, am I looking to repair or am I looking to grow? Right.
Oh, I love that. And also, you totally jumped ahead. So I'm fine with that, just so you know, because that's what I call directional surrender. When you point yourself in a direction, what do I want to run towards next? What do I want to create? And I love the fact that you just made the distinction, and I'm probably going to write this down after we do this call. The difference between growth into what is the next evolution going to be versus a complete redirect, or, in my life, I like to call it down, like call it where you just burn it all. I don't know. Did you ever watch Game of Thrones?
I've never tapped in. Don't hate me. Don't log off. I'm
No, it's
sorry,
fine.
guys. Educate me. Educate me.
All right, so listen to this.
Okay.
The most epic letdown of a TV series, let me tell you, first and
Mm.
foremost.
Okay. I'm
One
here. I'm
seasons
glad
1
I
through
didn't
6,
watch.
seasons 1 through 6, incredible. And whoever's watching this, share this with 3 other people, because we're over here stirring the pot about Game of Thrones, okay? But anyways, one of the last episodes, the queen and even the mad king was like, burn it all
Mhm.
down. And Jay, let me tell you, there's been a couple times in my life where I've gone through some massive life transitions, and I just kind of look at my life and I'm like, it's all freaking burning. Also, I got to remember that this is alive, because we cannot beep out bad words. So watch your language here. But just like let it all burn, right? Let it all burn. And whether your 2023 was amazing and your best year ever, and there's things that you want to enhance on, whether you need to burn it all down, there can always be something that you're interested in moving forward with or learning from. And that is ultimately learning forward, growing forward.
Yeah.
All right, so we know that we have to know what we're letting go of. We have to know, get real honest about what's not working.
Yeah.
What comes with that, as you said, is the direction forward, either what did you call it? Not the burning down, but the other version.
Repairing or growing.
Repairing. Yep,
Yeah.
thank you. Okay. Repairing for you is like burning for me.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
there is just leaving it in the past. And I love how you said acceptance as well. So now we're thinking of our big, beautiful 2024. We've identified how we're going to elevate from where we've been in 2023, and we're painting the picture for what's next. Jay, you laid out some massive goals for your 2024 at the beginning of this call.
Yeah.
But how you have gotten here has taken time, and it has taken multiple years of building. So when you have a new project that you are running towards, what are some of the first initial steps that you take to be able to move towards that goal?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. One, I ask it, is it in line with the vision? I have 4 boxes, right? 4 boxes that keep me on track. I'm such a visionary, and you know me, I'll go boom, 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 boom. Okay, we're gonna change direction, go this way, right? And that's just how many ideas come into my head. But I have 4 boxes, and it took me a while to get here. So I love sharing this because I wanted to help people with their decision making, right? If you have a vision and you want to make sure your actions, your behaviors are in line with your vision, right? Get your 4 boxes. And mine are, does this allow me to speak? Does this allow me to coach? Does this allow me to train? Or does this have reoccurring revenue? Those are my 4 boxes. Those are my 4 boxes. And if my idea, my program, the opportunity that comes across my desk, if it doesn't allow me to speak, if it doesn't allow me to coach, if it doesn't allow me to train, or it doesn't have reoccurring revenue, I'm sorry, I gotta love you from a distance because it's not in line with the vision where I'm going. Because I want to speak in 10 different states. I want to coach or speak or train 20,000 different people. Like, and that's what my decisions lie in. And so, whatever your vision is, make sure your decisions are in line with your vision. And your vision doesn't change, your vision expands. And so, when I do get an opportunity that comes and is like, okay, this allows me to speak, it doesn't allow me to coach. I'm good. Maybe they'll want to work with me afterwards. And so it expands the vision. It doesn't change the vision, it just expands it. So that's how I make sure that, like, when I'm launching a new program, I have a new idea and make sure it's aligned with the person that I'm becoming and the person I'm running towards. If it's aligned with my vision, if it fits in my 4 boxes.
Wow. All right. My name's Alexus Ray. This is Jay Chase. This is our first ever Mastery Monday. If you are just joining us, thank you so much for being here. We are dropping nuggets. Also, share this stream with like 3 or 4 other people in your inbox right now because this stuff is fire. So, Jay, your 4 boxes line up with your personal vision, obviously, right? You have identified the vision, you know ultimately the goal you're trying to achieve. Then you kind of ran it through this filter system. Now, for the rest of us that aren't Jay Chase, what another 4 box analogy could look like. And I have been talking about this on my podcast. I've been talking about this basically in every coaching call, every conversation. At the end of the year, choosing one word for your next year. Have you ever heard of this philosophy, Jay, or have I already talked to you about it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Will. Yeah. No. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. So this is the whole idea. This is the whole mindset behind it. You choose one word to be your theme for the year. And it is what you filter your decisions through. It is what you use to guide yourself, your intention, be in the back of your mind, which is pretty similar to what you just described of like, all right, this is my ultimate goal. These are the 4 things that I need to make sure each action I take align with. And really the one word that can change your life, that's the name of this book that I'm referring to, does that for you. So you sit down, you meditate, you think about the things that we've shared so far, and you choose one word to be your vision, to be your goal in the next year. And you use that as your guiding force. My words so far, I've been doing this, I'm coming up on my 3rd year that this is going to be affecting my life in a positive way, which is kind of exciting, crazy all at the same time to think about how much has gone on in that amount of time. But in 2022, my word was freedom.
Okay.
And that, truthfully, freedom will set you free. Because at that point in my time, when that word found me, I was in an emotionally unhealthy relationship. I was still in recovery from the car accident. So I definitely didn't feel like I had freedom in my health or my career yet at that point. A bunch of other things. I mean, I could go on, right? Freedom in 2022 was a big thing. Then eventually by the end of the year, I was living in Arizona. I was no longer in that unhealthy relationship. I was adapting and learning how to thrive and learning how to grow, and still plagued with chronic health issues, but that's okay because I was dealing with it in an environment that I had chosen, in a situation that I had chosen. So then the next word that came about was to continue. So 2023 was the year of
I like
continuation.
that.
I started a bunch of new things in 2022. And now going into 2024, I don't know what the word's going to be. I have a couple of ideas. Have a couple of um, callings, but really the entire reason Jay and I are sharing these with you is so that you can have an idea of what to apply or how to apply in your life these concepts to elevate your performance, to elevate your day to day actions, to move you forward towards your goals. And some days, too, you might just have to rest. Some days, not every day, is going
Not
to move
every
you forward.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I say focus on the things that move the needle. Focus on the things that move the needle the most. Right. And I love that. Like, and I operate by the one word as well. And those one words have became my values because I've operated about them so much, since starting that. It's what's connection, growth, integrity. As I move into 2024, the word is amplify. And everything that I do, and the vision and the growth and the programs and the coaching and the speaking, amplified, do more to maximize the potential and growth of something. And so that's my one word that's driving me. So I encourage you to get one as well. But then when you get one, I encourage you to get four action words, develop, generate, inspire, motivate, like whatever those action words are. So when you feel like you don't know what to do or know how to go, you got an action word to fall back on. That's one thing that I do suggest with that I've discovered in that.
I like it. Okay, so action tied to your intention.
Yeah. So make that one word an action word, right? And so yeah, then make it like in that intention because you can always fall back on that action. Absolutely. That's one thing that drives me is that we can plan enough to either inspire or halt action. And a lot of people plan enough to halt action. And they're like, okay, I got a good plan and do nothing with it. So fall back on action words. Plan enough to inspire action, not to stop action.
Oof, I love that. Okay,
Yeah.
that was good. And also, it took me a second. I'm glad you rephrased that. So you're saying make your one word a word that is actionable.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, it seems so simple. It seems so simple. Okay, so far for elevating 2024, what we have to sum this up in the last 30 minutes of us chatting has been
Mhm.
to identify what you leave and realize what you keep,
Mhm.
to recognize what either is going to evolve, grow, or change
Mhm.
versus what you're going to burn down.
Yeah.
Then you're going to point yourself in a direction and you're going to go. You're going to take action, right? You're going to choose something. And that really, the action piece, I think, was going to be the third thing that we touch on here is Jay, how do you actually start moving towards your goals? How do you actually start to get in motion? Because you and I know after working with a lot of people, after having several conversations, that starting can be the hardest part. So, what advice do you offer to anyone listening here trying to get started?
Yeah. First and foremost, know yourself well enough to know if you're a self starter or not. A lot of self starters don't, or a lot of people think they're self starters and they're not self starters. And so they never get started because nobody's starting them. They're trying to start themselves. Right. And so if you're not a self starter, get in the community. And whoever's doing what you want to be doing, get around them. If you're not a self starter, I see it. I found he's back. Jack is back. Jack the Fly is back. But yo, yeah, if you're not a self starter, find out like if you're like, okay, I want to grow, so go seek a growth mindset community, right? If you're a self starter, okay, what does number one action look like for today? For me, I have to spend an hour a day on outreach. Why? Because it's in line with my vision. It's in line with my goals. I want to speak in 10 different states. That means I got to get 10 different states to know who I am and want to book me. I want to inspire 20,000 people. I got to outreach and reach out to 20,000 people. That's just what I have to do. So it's like, what's the small, it ain't even got to be big, small steps, great distances. What's the smallest piece of action I can take today?
I like to say one thing every day that's going to move you forward, whether it be literally like getting out of bed, which some days that's what it is. And
That's it.
other days your feet might hit the ground and, the earth shatters and everyone's like, oh, well, where'd this person come from? Like, you know, but I appreciate that you said that. As small as it can be, just get moving. And it doesn't even have to be perfect, right? And actually, I'm totally going to go down that other tangent. But before I do, the most important thing that I really took out of what you just said, Jay, is if you're not a self starter, that's okay. Like,
Yeah.
get help, especially in today's like culture or subculture or whatever energies you're getting picked up on, the algorithms with who's showing you what. Like, we can think so much, we can should on ourselves so much that ends
Mhm.
up preventing us from even starting. So
Yeah.
thanks, Jay, for naming that. Like, if you haven't gotten started so far, don't beat yourself up for that. And it's okay that you're not a self starter. Oof,
Only
it's
12% of the
okay.
world really is. Only 12% of the world really is. Only those really competitive, high driven, ambitious people are self starters. Where they're like, yo, I'm gonna go get this. And a lot of people start and then they stop. That's not, I don't necessarily call that self starter. That's like a jump pack. That's like a jump battery. You know what I mean? When your battery almost dead, you get a little jump, you make it down the street, the battery die again. Now you need another jump. Leave the car on. You gotta leave the car on so the battery don't die. That's
Yeah.
that's you're not a self starter, right? You're not a self starter. You still using somebody else's energy. But what I'm saying is that that's not a bad thing. Like, that's not a bad thing. Like, you probably thrive around people on a team, in a community. Get around people doing the things that you want to do. Get around people who are just one step ahead of you so they can turn around and pull you forward. Right? I'd rather somebody pull me forward than pull me down. That's it.
Oof. Man. Okay, Jay. I would say we probably have about 5 minutes here
Yeah.
left. 5 minutes left here. And in the last few minutes, all right, we have already nailed so many actionable items, truthfully.
Yeah.
Like, wow, this thing's going to be existing forever. But
Cool.
beyond being a self starter, right? If you've recognized, okay, this is not something I can do by myself. Also, why would you want to? Like, us as humans, right? We are still like herd animals or, community animals. So wanting to do it with others moves us further. And
Yeah.
so getting into those people, now let me turn back around to the other tangent that I was about to go on. Now that we've like identified that about ourselves, it's just the small daily action. And I love the idea of consistency over discipline, over like, it's not so much about, oh, I have to push through even when I don't want to. It's that I
Mhm.
just need to show up and do the little things over and over and over again
Yeah.
that
Consistency
ultimately lead to
compounds.
mastery, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Consistency compounds. And so it's the little things that you do on a daily that's going to make the biggest difference, not the biggest things that you do every once in a while. Those things come around. It's actually the small things that create the great things.
Absolutely. Oof, the small things
Yeah.
that create the good, great, small things that create the
Create.
great things. What you said, that was amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, Jay. So we're leading into 2024. We've already talked about the Amplify series a little bit. We've talked about some of these other aspects. Let us know what your picture is. Let's talk about Amplify because really, this is just a little over a month. You're going to be in Scottsdale, Arizona. We're going to have 7 speakers a part
Yeah.
of this, right? We just locked in number 7, which that's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Um, what's next? Or what
Yeah.
does this look like?
Yeah. No, it looks like 2 days of growth. It looks like 2 days of growth and development. And a lot of people think like, oh, it's a rah conference event. It's not. It's not. You're coming in the room and you're getting and we're getting to work and we're getting past barriers. We're setting ourselves up for our 2024. That's what I'm doing in January. I'm doing and I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna let y'all set y'all New Year's resolutions. I'm gonna let y'all, do your little mindset resets. I'm gonna let y'all do all of that, right? But 2 weeks in, we'll be in Scottsdale. 3 weeks in, we'll be in Scottsdale. Come on. We're ready to actually do the work and actually know, okay, am I a self-starter? Okay, what does the vision look like? What are the three action steps that I need to take daily? And then you're going to be in a room full of experts, me, Alexus, right? Experts, right? There are seven of them, and seven of them experts to help you get to where you need to be. So that's what Amplify looks like. 2 days of just growth development, doing some deep work on the side of helping you get exactly where you need to be, whether it's business, relationships, in your life, right? Whatever finances, whatever that may look like, whatever that may look like. I hope I did that. I can't be. Sometimes I'm not concise. Sometimes I am concise. I get excited though. I do know that. I get excited.
No, you nailed it. Amplify is going to be amazing. So, last but not least, as we wrap this up, for anyone that's watching this, how can they get in touch with you? What is the way that they can get more of Jay Chase if this is the answer for them?
Amplify. No, DJChase.com. Amplify. Like, come to Scottsdale. Come to Scottsdale. That's it. You want more? You want more of this? Come to Scottsdale. Come get in the room. That's the best advice I have for you. If you have questions, though, you can reach me at DJ Chase on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, VJ Chase, TheJayChase. If you like this little collab duo, then you can head over to my podcast where Alexis will be making an appearance on that as well in a couple weeks. So really excited about that. And that podcast is called Don't Touch My Mindset.
Oof, number one, top
Number two,
2%. What is
top
it?
2%,
Okay,
top 2% in the world. Mindset podcast.
top
Number one,
2% mindset.
number one mindset podcast to follow in 2023. Crown that. I was like, yo, that's great. That's great. I'm glad that y'all feel that way. That I was able to help you guys refresh, renew, and put into perspective a mindset that's untouchable.
Oh, I love that mindset that's untouchable. Well, Jay, I really appreciate you coming on here to kick off this Mastery Monday series with me. I won't even lie, the next Mastery Monday is not going to be next week, but it's going to be the following week. So we are aiming for the 18th. December is going to be a little different between the holidays, the following week's Christmas, but we are going to do a New Year's Mastery as well. So we got the 18th and January 1st coming up. Also, if you would like to connect with myself, you can check out alexisray.com, or all of my handles are at Miss Alexis Ray. Beyond that, really, this is my first time like wrapping up a live. Normally at the end of my podcast, I always say, life is beautiful and you create the magic. I mean, Jay, what's your catchphrase at the end of your podcast?
Stay focused, stay inspired, stay connected, and please don't let anyone touch your mindset.
Oof, that's a good one. Okay, don't let anyone touch your mindset for the rest of this week. Continue to think about what you want to do in 2024. And we're so grateful for you having to have joined us today. And we will see you on the next Mastery Monday.
There it is.